we're talking with Connor Beaton, founder of ManTalks, about the book No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. What are some tips, just the tip, that you can give nice guys to help break free of these behaviors?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I can't stress this enough, find a group of men who can support you in this journey. You know, it's like, I don't want to compare it to like AA at all, but having that group of men who can hold you accountable and like call you forward and be able to point out some of the things that you might be avoiding or can't see is imperative in this process. So I would say that's first and foremost. Find a group of guys. You know, the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, there's actually nice guy groups that you can join.
That's good.
And they're kind of like all over the world. You can join one of the ManTalks masterminds, which I think we might talk about after, but that's another great resource. So that's where you start. Secondly is start to identify the things that you want in your relationship, that you want sexually, that you want in your work environment, that you avoid asking for. That is the next biggest step. Right. And kind of like rank them. I know this sounds like ridiculous, but rank them in the most confronting to the least confronting. Because you don't want to start with like the most confronting thing, right? Like if you've always wanted something sexually in bed, that's really vulnerable. That's really confronting, right? Yeah. So maybe start with, hey, I wanted to go to this art museum. Right. Start with that. That's a little bit confronting. It's not crazy. It's not super vulnerable. So, you know, if you get shot down or whatever happens, it's not going to be as crippling as asking for something really vulnerable. Right. So that would be step number 2. And then step number 3 is make sure you're communicating those things with the guys, right? So in the book, he's got some great challenges. Yeah. Dr. Robert Glover has some great challenges in the book. Go through some of those challenges, and as you go through them, circle back with the guys that you're going through this process with, and say, here's what happened. You know, here's where I fell flat. Here's where it was great. And then the bonus is start learning how to say no. Right. And this is one of the most challenging things for nice guys because they're so used to saying yes to everybody. Right. And saying no is a really confronting thing. So maybe they say no in this like really advertent way, like this kind of like gross way where they're like, well, I really want to, but I have to do this and I can't because of that. Right. They never just say, no, it's not what I want to do right now. Yeah, exactly. But maybe start with no with an excuse or an explanation, and then just like work your way into just no, I don't want to. You know? And you could even practice like rejection therapy, right? Where you just start asking people for things and start getting comfortable with hearing no as well. Yeah. So it's saying no and hearing no. Right. Those are going to be the most confronting things that we can do. So what's the mastermind group about? So the mastermind is really it's a year-long curriculum that we've built, and it's really for guys who are looking to be more self-aware, high-performing guys who are looking to have an impact, whether it's in their business, in their community, in their relationship. And we have built this based off of a traditional mastermind and like a men's group. And so you do a lot of work on yourself, but you also work on your career and your business. So it's we keep the group to 12 guys. And so far we have quite a few chapters here in Vancouver. We've got over 120 members in Vancouver alone. And there's some amazing guys in there. So whether you're wanting to be a better father, a better husband, a better business owner, or just a better man in general, it's an incredible resource for guys. And I have seen it change men's life in ways that are completely unexpected. Right, and I would expect that even for single guys who improve their life in the area of finance or career or health, it's going to spin off into the relationships with women, like giving them that confidence. 100%, yeah, because you're going to be around a group of men who are really not only committed to holding you accountable, but they're committed to holding themselves accountable. Right. And so the results that you end up producing in that space over a year is amazing, because you meet up with these guys every 2 weeks. And you set very specific goals, and you verbalize to them, this is what I'm going to achieve, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to accomplish. So no matter what part of your life you're wanting to work on, these groups are incredible for that. That's awesome. Yeah. So what would be the biggest tip, just the tip, that you want to give nice guys? The biggest tip, honestly, that has the biggest impact possible is what I was talking about before, is find that group of men who are outside of your current circle of influence.
Right.
Because so many guys are just surrounded by the same type of men. And even when they try and change, they read the book, they do the programs, they start dating different women, they're sort of pulled back into their normal routines and normal conversations because they're surrounded by the same type of guys.
You can't soar with the eagles if you're clucking with the turkeys.
Boom, I like that. I don't know why turkeys, but it's good. But
Because turkeys can't fly.
it's true. So, the quote from Jim Rome that you're the equivalent of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
True.
Well, if you're trying to make all this progress in your life and you're trying to make all this development and you're still surrounded by 5 guys or 5 people, women and men, who are constantly not willing to budge in their life, it's gonna be really hard. It's gonna be really, really hard to make change because they're going to want to keep you where you are. So the single biggest thing is find that group, and it doesn't matter if it's ManTalks or it's any of the other groups that are in Vancouver or around the world. Just find them, please, and invest in it because it is the single biggest thing that you can do.
And they may need to actually find some of those men first before letting go of some of those other relationships.
Yes, absolutely.
To get that courage to be able to do that and see the other side, see how much better it can be.
Absolutely.
Right. So some of the things you can do is definitely go to mantalks.com, pick up Dr. Glover's book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. You can also subscribe to the ManTalks podcast. Go to a ManTalks event in a city near you, a program that I have for guys that is basically how to get a girlfriend. And there'll be details and all the links below the video.
Is my big furry leg in the way?
It is actually
in the way.
So funny.